Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the various quality control issues I've had over a several amount of products I've had over the years. So first is the XM1R. It really isn't that big of a problem. It just creaks a little bit after I haven't used it for a while, and the scroll wheel feels a little bit weird. It feels like it skips like a second and then it goes back to normal. I don't know why. It might be just me going crazy. But yeah, that's it for the quality control issues for this mouse. It is still very, very good. And maybe I just got lucky, but yeah, it still feels very, very good. And I'm glad I got it, and this is my main mouse. But next is the Razer Deathadder version 2, and I don't feel very good about this mouse. I got this one, and this was still $70, so yeah, it wasn't worth it, especially at 70 bucks. But now it's 40 bucks, so maybe it's worth it now. But yeah, the build quality sucks. It creaks a lot, and the bottom out just feels bad. It just feels very, very mushy, and it doesn't feel good at all. So yeah, that's why I don't use that mouse anymore, except for when I play Geometry Dash, because I don't want to double click when I play Geometry Dash, so that's the only instance I use that mouse. But next is the junk pile that is over here with all my other mice. So here is the Model D wireless, or not the Model D wireless, the Model D wired. And yeah, I've had a lot of issues with Glorious over the years. First is with the Model Minus. It just all of a sudden got a squeaky scroll wheel out of nowhere. It was like fine before, but it just got a squeaky scroll wheel out of nowhere, and it was just gone after about like a week. I don't know why, but it was just about gone. Like, I don't know why. It just popped up and whoop, it vanished. It's not like I didn't use it a lot. I did use it a lot, but it just vanished for some reason. And this also had a squeaky scroll wheel at some point, but it just stopped. It doesn't have that anymore. I don't know why. It just all of a sudden had a squeaky scroll wheel, and then it just stops after about a week of like continuous use. I don't know, man. But yeah, there's several problems with this mouse. First is that it creaks a little bit, and the squeaky scroll, as I talked about, and the switches don't feel good, especially after going from KO 8.0's back to Omron's, especially with this cheap body. It does not feel good. And I'm going to be telling you about the story of my Model O wireless. Some people might already know this, but I'm going to tell it again, because why not? Because it was a very, very frustrating experience. So the Model O wireless is 80 bucks, got it, and it was bad. For about a week, it was good, or yeah, for about a week, it was good, and I didn't have any problems with it. But then I started to realize it could not double click. It just could not double click, which was one of the main features of the Model O wireless, which is that it can double click, and you know, the reason why you want it to double click is to play Minecraft, but it could not do that. So yeah, that was a huge issue. Second issue was that the right mouse button just squeaked when I pressed it at the edge. Like when I pressed it here, it squeaked. And that was where I pressed it most. So it was just squeaking so much, and it was very, very annoying. So I returned it and I got a new one. And that one even sucked even more. That one sucked even more. Yeah, it was just worse because it was now super mushy. Because whatever material they used to dampen the sound, it made it very, very mushy, and it just felt like shit. Yeah, Glorious just kind of sucks with build quality. I've heard they've gotten better, especially with like the Model D wireless, but I don't care at this point. I'm not buying another Glorious product for a while, maybe ever, because I've just had a super negative experience with them. I mean, I'm glad I got my money back, but still, like, I've had an awful experience with Glorious. But next is the MM710, and I can't really complain because I got this for about $9 with my PC, which is a steal. But yeah, the only problem I have with this is that the bottom out just feels kind of mushy. Yeah, that's about it. The scroll wheel is still pretty good, and I like the cable a lot as well. And it's a little bit small, but that's not a quality control issue. It's just a little bit mushy when I bottom it out. And the Roccat mouse doesn't have any quality control issues. Actually, I just switched off it because I didn't like how it felt after a while. I just didn't like the stiff scroll wheel after a while because it's like really stiff, and there was like a little bit of post travel after a while on the mouse switches, if you can kind of hear it maybe. But there's no squeaking, or there's no creaking, there's no squeaking, there's no nothing. It still feels very, very good, and the cable is just fine. It's not like flexible or anything, but it's fine. But yeah, that's it for my mice. But let me talk about my headphones now. Some of you might already know this again, but I'm going to tell it again, because why not? The Fidelio X2HRs. That was probably the worst experience I've had with audio ever. So when I got into the audiophile scene, I was like, okay, let me get an open back headphone that has like good ratings. And I did. I got the Fidelio X2HRs by Philips. And again, after about a week of use, there was really not that big of a deal. But then after that, I started to notice that there was a little bit of bass, and it crept up. And then after about a month of use, I noticed there was a lot more bass than there should have been. Maybe there was burnout or something. I don't know if burnout even exists in audio. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But yeah, maybe it was burning or something, or burnout, whatever. Whatever the fuck you call it. It's burned something. It just was super bassy, and that's not the point of open back. The point of open back is to feel spacious and to not have a lot of bass. But this was the exact opposite. They just didn't feel very spacious when I got them, period, now that I think about it. And yeah, there was just a lot more bass than I was hoping for, which sucked because, again, they're open backs. They're not supposed to be super bassy. They're supposed to have a decent amount of bass, and they're still supposed to have a little bit of thump, but not like so much to the point where it kind of ruins music. And even when I turned down the equalizer on my amp software, that did not help things. And yeah, it was just a bad experience. But what it made it even worse, what made me sell them, is that they didn't have the ability to remove the earpads. I could not remove them. I could not remove the earpads. I just could not. I couldn't remove them because they were glued on. Because for a short amount of time, apparently like a factory decided to glue the earpads onto the headphone chassis for no reason. So yeah, that was a deal breaker for me, but I couldn't do anything about it because, the window is up for me to return them. So I couldn't do anything. So when I wanted to get my new PC, I decided, hey, let's sell them. And so I did. I sold them. And yeah, that's about it. I use the HyperX headphones now, and they're pretty good. The HyperX Cloud 2s. I mean, they're super bassy, but I mean, hey, they're a pretty good pair of headphones for about $80. They're pretty good. I've not had a severe quality control issue with them. It like has a little bit of like quality control down here, a little bit of a tiny problem, but that's about it. It feels like a little bit mushy down there, but that's about it. But yeah, I'm sorry for my voice. I'm just kind of tired. And yeah, that's it. Those are basically all the quality control issues I've had over the years. Oh yeah, wait, one more. This isn't like scripted or anything. I just completely forgot about one. Yeah, before I got into the audiophile scene, before I like saved up enough money, I got about a $50 pair of headphones. I'm pretty sure they were the Samson, not the Samsung, but the Samson SR850s, which I heard were like really, really good. And after about a while, the cable broke. The cable just stopped working, and it only worked from one angle. And I did not want to hold up a cable to listen to music. So yeah, I just did not use them. They're trashed. The build quality also wasn't that great in general. But hey, they sounded pretty good for the short amount of time that they survived. But yeah, those are basically all the quality control issues. Thankfully, I've not had any quality control issues with my monitor. I know I said there was a dead pixel, but now I think about it, it was just a mark to, like, where to put, like, stuff. I don't know. But it was a mark. It's not like an actual dead pixel, especially when it's on the border of the monitor. It's not on the actual main monitor itself. It's not on the screen. I've had no problems with the mic. I've had no problems with my microphone amp. Had no problems with my headphone amp. Had no problems with my PC. Had no problem with the Wi-Fi. Nothing. It was just with the mice and my headphones. That's it. Thankfully, no problems with the keyboard either. But yeah, that is it. And I will see you guys later. Bye.